Hello, welcome to Nezzo's Bad Shop. I'm your host, Nezzo, and you are looking at a car we've been waiting to see for a while. This is the Sakura D6 carbon fiber version. They call it the GA, so it's the D6 GA by 3Racing. And if you're coming here from watching the unbox of the sport version of the car, the all-plastic version, what you're going to see here is a lot of sort of the same description and stuff, minus the colored parts and what have you, and the few differences that are about this GA version of the Sakura D6. And this glorious pit mat you're seeing here that has words such as Imagine and Colored Carbon Edition and Finest Entry. This pit mat was a pre-order bonus if you ordered the GA car, the the carbon fiber chassis version. You were then gifted a pit mat, which was really cool. And you'll see in the other video for the sport car that since I pre-ordered that car as well, I got a rear motor mount additional throw-in as well for the order. So that was a bonus. And this pit mat, though, is really nice. Like, it feels really good. It's like microfiber-y kind of feel. It's nice and smooth. Like, oh, it's very nice. It's going to be nice to work on and put car on and all that sort of stuff. The letters and words you see on the box, yes, we've been waiting for this one for some time. Now, I went pretty in depth on the other video, and I'm going to go in depth here as well. So you're going to hear, like I said, a lot of the same things. But this is the colored one, so we get to oogle at some color. But I'm going to also compare quickly, as I go through the box, what the differences are in the both boxes, my other kits being over there. And I have a few other car kits from friends of mine. Shout out to Bryant and Phil for allowing me to cut their boxes open if I want. They have blue ones, so we might just cut one of those boxes open real quick to oogle at the blue carbon and all that. And shout out to my buddy Sam for organizing our group pre-order. We ordered 8 or 10 of these things amongst a couple, a bunch of us. We're really excited. I'm really excited because this is now the 4th iteration of the Sakura drift chassis, the D6. Weird being the 4th iteration, the 4th version, but they did the D3, which launched in 2012. Then they did the D4, which launched in 2015, and that platform was both rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. The Sakura D3 was an all-wheel drive car, all-wheel counter-steer style drivetrain. That was that car. The D4 was both four-wheel and rear-wheel. And then the D5 came to us in 2020, and that was a rear-wheel drive only platform. I don't think they did any four-wheel drive versions of that one. Because four-wheel drive drifting, 50-50, or even counter-steer. Counter-steer is a little bit like rear-wheel, but 50-50 is pretty much like rally drifting, rally driving, whatever. So true rear-wheel drive platform for the D5, which came to us in 2020, and now we have the D6 platform here at the end of 2024. And a little bit of background, just a little bit about the car and the platform and stuff. Yeah, this is the 4th version, and they've made quite a bit of changes. There's a few little similarities in sort of designness, which is coming to us from the D5, but they've changed a bunch of things: suspension mounts, transmission styles and positions, things like that. They've made other little things here and there. The Sakura D3 being a four-wheel drive car and counter steer, it was a little bit of a handful. We didn't have a lot of angle. You had to do a bunch of modding to it. Several of us made them rear-wheel drive, but they were front-motored cars. And once the mid-rear car platform became popular in 2016 by the Yokomo YD2, everything was going mid-motor or rear ESC, this type of configuration, as that was the most effective for our 1/10 scale drift cars. And then the Sakura D4, out of the box, I did the rear wheel version. Out of the box, it was a big handful. I remember it being nearly undriftable. It was drivable, but it was very hard to drift it or hold angle. We did a bunch of rudimentary mods, little things. Some people threw a couple $100s at the car, particularly on the front end, and it made the Sakura D4 a lot better and driftable and drivable. And it was very similar to a couple other platforms around the time. Around then, so it took ideas from a couple different platforms, belt driven, and for an entry-level car, it got a lot of people into the hobby. Some people got deterred because it didn't work very well out of the box. Others stuck with it, and away they went. But then when the Sakura D5 launched, that was a huge change. major platform changes, drivetrain changes. They changed the front geometries, and crucially, out-of-box performance was amazing for the price point of roughly $200, which roughly this is Canadian. I'm in Canada, so this is roughly, or sorry, the basic car. Sorry, we're talking about the basic car. The basic car was about $200, and the bang for the buck, the performance you got was very, very good. I was very pleased, and so that spawned several versions of the D5 after the initial launch, the rear-motored version, and it just got better and better. And for an entry level, as it says here, it was great bang for buck, and a lot of people who bought a Sakura, some of them moved to other platforms or second, third car, whatever, a different brand or whatever. But a lot of them hung on to their Sakura because they liked it, because it was easy to use, and usually they got them working pretty good, and just a straight up, let's just drive it and have some fun with it car. And a good amount of people took them into competitions as well, this D5s, many different versions. There's tons of conversion kits, all that sort of stuff. But crucially, the big takeaway was low cost, great performance out of box, you're getting your money's worth, and you really couldn't ask for more out of the box. So what I'm really hoping with this D6 version, the plastic, and this GA version, is we have great, as good as, or better out of the box performance. Otherwise, we'll be going backwards. But I don't see that being a thing, considering the engineers and the test drivers at 3Racing, when the first news came that this was going to be announced and created and all that stuff, they sort of launched a sort of call it a small campaign. They wanted user opinion. They wanted drivers around the world opinion and thoughts and tips and all that. They wanted that information from us to put into the design of this car. So many of us were very adamant that the D6 should have certain things, and don't do things from this version, and please don't do this. This doesn't work. This and this other thing works. They went. They did this for a couple of months as they were releasing all kinds of informations, like saying, we're going to do 3 transmission types, we're going to have a redesigned this, we're going to change this to the pistons, we're going to, what else can I just quickly show here? We're going to throw in rear active tow, we're going to include the magnet mounts, like stuff like that. And so they were very vocal, and we were both very vocal back at asking for certain things, this and that. I know I was making memes about certain things, such as, which I pointed out in the other video, please put in an axle and wheel nut style drive shaft, or the drive axles, because the quick release screw system did not work very well. And when they introduced that in the middle of the D5 range, a lot of us barked about it very quickly because cars were just undoing themselves on track. Wheels were falling off after a couple laps. Not very good. And so the last version of the D5, the D5 MRV2, I believe it was, that version, I believe, they went back to the axle and wheel nut, which, rightly so, that's worked very well. I don't know why they decided to change it, but it didn't work well. But they went back to it for the last version of the D5. Well done. So I was very adamant, please don't put the stupid quick release screw system in, put a traditional wheel nut with an axle, and they've done that. So, and not only did they confirm and sort of were answering us on the fly, like we'd type something up and within, half the day, roughly, we'd get an answer, or somebody would reply to us, oh, we've considered this, we have thought about this, thank you for your input, we'll definitely take this to heart and thought, and they really did. So since I've already unboxed the other car, I can say sort of these things already that I've seen from the parts in the unboxed thing, things they said they were going to do, which we were like, oh, will they actually do it? They did. Or things that actually surprised me in the box, in the unboxing process, which we're going to go through with this car as well. But for the sake of, if you only ordered this version and you didn't order both, or if you have already watched the other video, I'm going to go through everything again, so don't worry. Yes, so where were we? So I was just talking about all that cool stuff, what they've done, things they were doing, how vocal the test drivers were, and things like that throughout the process. It was very good. So that was something that really hasn't happened. I've not seen that from the likes of Yokomo or MST or, any of the other real RC car brands out there right now. Not too many really reaching out to the general driver base, user base, the drifters out there, asking them their actual opinions. What should we put in this car? How should we design this? What do you guys think after owning a couple of them? What do you think we should do? What do you like, what you don't like? And that was pretty neat. That was an interesting process, and I kind of enjoyed it. I really liked it. So I'm hoping more manufacturers will take notice because that proved to be pretty effective. And I've already seen in the other unboxing many features that many people were talking about, and they've made it into the design or whatever. So bravo. So let's go through some of these things here. The first thing I'm going to point out, we're 10 minutes deep already. Lots of blabbing. There's going to be even more blabbing before we open this box. So if you're skipping through, keep skipping. If you're here for the whole journey, for the ride, let's go. So the box art, very well done, very colorful, very many pictures, visuals, tons of information. Like, look at it all here. La 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 la. Lots of info here, more pictures, right? That's very good. The only thing that really kind of slightly annoys me is I wish they wrote by the barcode or somewhere actually on the box the actual color. Now, you're going to hear me say that and go, Nezo, use your eyeballs. Well, if you're like me and you're a little bit colorblind and colors mess with you, when you look at this, to me, I see kind of pinkish red, and then I see kind of bluey purple. Technically, this is the purple one, this is the blue one. I had my friends help me confirm it. But just for future 3Racing, can you write it sort of in the barcode or somewhere over here, specification D6 GA blue, BL, RD for red, PU or VL or whatever for violet, purple. Just so, because colorblind people, I sat here and struggled for many minutes trying to figure out which was which actually, but it's okay. Not a big deal. I figured it out. Just a little note. So it's not a markdown. It's just a little note. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just, I think the printing maybe got away from them, but otherwise, no, the box art is brilliant and I like it. But yeah, my eyes messed with me, and so I asked my buddies and they helped me confirm it. Way go. The only other thing was I looked up the barcodes, the SKUs online. I couldn't find anything currently that said this SKU is this. Like, this SKU is purple. This SKU is blue. Couldn't find it quickly before shooting this video, so no big deal. I just messaged my buddies and said, help. So away we go. But it's nicely, very picturesque, lots of info on it. Very well done, because a lot of, well, basically, okay, so this is also a sleeve that the main chassis box sits in. So I'm pointing out the box art thing because I really like that there's a lot of pictures and details and information. Very good for if it's sitting on the shelf and you wanted to just kind of figure out what this is about right on the box. And I mention this because a lot of car boxes, car kits nowadays, it kind of looks what they've done here on the inside of the sleeve. They just put the brand name and maybe the car model, and then you flip the box all around and there's barely anything, like not even a SKU. But because this is the box that lives inside this sleeve, I'm okay with this arrangement right here, right now, because we've got the information all over this sleeve, which you could then unfold wherever it's attached to itself, and put it on the wall, put it on the, hang it up in your hobby shop, whatever. I might stick mine somewhere over here in my service area. It's nice. I like that. It's very colorful, very informative. And so this being the inner part of the box with really nothing on it, I'm okay with that. But a lot of other car kits, when you look at the box, it's kind of boring, and you can't even see a picture of the item on the box. So well done to 3Racing for going for this length, of doing this very informative, colorful sleeve, and then a decent actual basic sort of box design here. I like this, and a huge factory seal, like was on my other box as well. Massive factory seal. It's a very nice sticker. I know some people, they like to save these kind of things and heat it up with the hair dryer. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to cut it. But for now, I'm going to stick this just back in the sleeve temporarily as I go through all the features and slide it back in the box. There we go. Go through the features in case you didn't watch the other video, or the GA was the only version you got. That way, you're on par. Also, so that we make sure we go over everything and that I didn't miss anything. So we'll probably get to cutting this box open another 5 to 10-ish minutes roughly. So if you're skipping through, keep skipping. If you're here with me, let's go. So the way I did this on the other video, just kind of went with the picture. So this is the main car right there. Very nice. There's some similarities to the D5. Yes, I can kind of see it through the mid of the chassis, but a lot of this has changed. This has changed. So yes, they've derived from the D5 and enhanced and created a new platform. I like that. So that's cool. That's what the car looks like. A nice huge picture of it. Awesome. Here, over here is illustrated the 3 motor mount types. So we have upper mid motor, upper rear motor, and lower rear motor. So 3 motor mount positions, 3 layout types there. Very nice. This is sort of becoming a standardized thing amongst most drift cars, being able to relocate the motor in various positions. So it's very good. And high CG style with a high motor. A lot of people are liking that. I like them on some cars, some of my other cars I don't, but this is going to be very handy. You'll have lots of choice. One thing from the other manual, from the other box unboxing, which I'll confirm, the manual that's in this box will be for the upper mid motor. This is their default layout. If you want to build the car with either of these layouts, you're going to have to download the manual from 3Racing's website. But good news, they provide a QR code right there that'll zip you right over to the manual section. So they were thinking there, so that's good. Some car kits, they put the manual with all the designs in amongst all the pages, and you gotta skip to page this to do this. If you're gonna do this, 3Racing just decided to make separate manuals, so I just want to point that out now before I get to the thing, but I'll confirm it as well. But this is the default layout, which I will be building the car in its box stock form and going from there. So moving along, here's more informations and stuff, which is very important. There's some particular stuff there for you, so you can read it right off there. And then the manual QR, like I pointed out, and of course, subject to change without notice, But at least they've written all this stuff here, which is good. Some boxes don't have anything. Now, if we continue with the pictures, I'll do these pictures first, and then I'll talk through this, which illustrates all that, as I did in the other video. So, what I'm really liking so far, this magnet set, we got them in the D5. They work great, they're strong, and to be added to the Sakura D5, even the base kit, it's in the basic sport car as well. That's a big plus. And so they've included it in the GA as well, also a big plus. I like that. So that's good. I like that magnet set. It is really, really nice. So that's a big plus. You can use the standard traditional body post if you really wanted, but throwing the magnets in, I'll probably just pick a body and run the magnets. What the heck? I don't normally run the magnets, but because they're giving them to me, hey, why not? Other than that, here, this is an interesting piece, which I did see in the other thing, built-in cable socket. So you will be able to route your wires through this part of the car, which some part of the bulkhead, I think it's going to be some part of the rear shock tower area, something like this. I'm going to find out once I build it. And those holes, looking at from the other video, they look like we can fit a 12 gauge wire through there. I would assume so. If this was someone's idea, proposing it to 3Racing, I'm assuming they would have spec'd 12 gauge, because most of us are running 12 gauge wires on our boosted cars. It's the sort of the de facto setup. So that's neat. And another huge thing that 3Racing added to this platform, which they've never had on any Sakura platform, is active rear tow, which is going to be a very nice addition because there are several cars on the market that do include this. Some are moving away from it, some are including it default. I know MST was for a while. There are aftermarket kits to do it. You can jerry rig it, retrofit, whatever. But 3Racing decided, hey, we're just going to include it straight up. So that's a big plus. That will give lots of neat adjustability and tuning options. So that's cool. And like I pointed out, there's a wheel nut and an axle. So that's majorly good. That was one thing I really wanted, was wheel nut and axle. So they took me seriously and said, we got you. And I actually got a reply to my post about it where I made the meme, and they said, don't worry, we were all over this. There was a lot of response about that. So that's that. Now this thing here, which I saw there was an addendum for in the other box, which it's probably going to be in here too. Something about the screw length was wrong here, and they've swapped the screw out, so they've already noticed that, and that's a official fix. We'll verify it. But it's a steering vibration adjustment bolt, and I'm imagining it just puts. I was trying to figure it out really quickly before, but it puts allows you to put tension on the steering if you want or not. / if you're getting a bit of vibration from wear, I think over time it will allow you to tighten that up a bit. I'll know more once I build it and figure it out. But there was an addendum for the screw that went in that area, so that's a thing. Heavy metal wheel hex 5mm offset. At first I was slightly confused because I thought, oh no, they're not going to put it's the quick release thing all over again, the screw thing. No, they got the nut there. But I seen it in the other box. This is actually all metal, and it's quite beefy looking, and it looks really strong. So I was quite excited about that. We will probably see that in here again, but that's a nice plus because This part on the quick release system that they had on one of the D5s, it was plastic, so this is metal now, and it has actually a threaded rod coming out, like the axle coming out of it. So very good. So that's that, and then the other main thing is this is the belt drivetrain, which is included with this particular release. They have created 3 different transmission types. Which is listed here, belt, bevel, and idler gear. The bevels they ran on the D5, belts they had done on the D4. Idler gears is what is proving to be, most popular. Pretty much all YD2s run idler gears, idler straight cut style. MST had to move to them in the RMX series and other cars because the bevel gears are getting murdered. D5 users were murdering bevel gears quite quickly, and a lot of them went to belts, which seemed to last longer than the bevel, which was strange in my eyes. But I think some people weren't running as much or no boost, whereas here we like our boost here at the Strictly Sideways Club track. That's where I'm at right now. It's a Sunday night. I got the place to myself, so we're doing special filming because these came in a day early, which I should have pointed out in the top of the video, but it's okay. So belt drivetrain, and there is a tensioner there, and so we're going back to the D4 days kind of with this, but they've designed this to be very nice with a nice FDR wherever it's written on here somewhere. And so the drivetrain should be nice and quiet because the D5 drivetrain was a little noisy with the bevels, but this should be quiet. So that's gonna be nice. And they haven't, as far as I know, they haven't released part numbers or even the whole the set or the swap kit. I don't think they've released them yet, so they don't have the bevels or the idler gears on the market yet, but I'm assuming they're going to drop them very, very quickly. I want idler straight cut gears so I can just go hamski with my boost because I love my boost, but I'm also quite somewhat aggressive on my throttling. I boost, I brake, I throttle, boost, brake, throttle, blah, blah, blah. I'm sometimes quite all over my throttle trigger, so I want a strong transmission. Personally, but I will run these cars, the sport one and this one, with the belt. I'll drive them good. I'll drive them hard. We'll see how the belts go. But I do know that it comes with a Bando reinforced belt from the other unboxings. We'll verify as well. Bando's good. That will last long. So, moving the box. We are 22 minutes deep, probably a couple minutes away from cutting the box open. If you want to keep skipping, a bunch of pictures of things here. Let's go through them quickly. Look at this. 6-hole pistons in the shock. Now this picture is from the plastic car, the sport car, but they are aluminum threaded body shocks with plastic top hat and bottom retainer. But it's an aluminum threaded body shock, which is a nice touch. So that's for the GA car. But it's 6-hole pistons, 1.3 millimeter hole. I think the D5 was 3-hole or 4-hole. I'm gonna have to go back and look when I do my comparisons and do some homework and make some notes. But this is a nice plus. This will be nice and plush. There were some people pointing out about the black O-ring inside of here. I think it's the same one as the D5, but some were saying they didn't like the feel of it and they immediately swapped to Yokomo Blues. I'll point that out when we get to that box. Tiny front bumper. Previous iterations had a more widerish bumper, so this particular bumper will only allow for the inner style body post setting instead of the wider style that you see on other car platforms such as the Yokomo YD2, Rookie Drifts Super Drift, all that, and the MST, RMX, FXX, all that sort of stuff. The front body post geometry is very similar across many cars, but this front bumper will only allow the short, the slim style, or whatever you want to call it. But we have magnets, as I said, so you can do whatever you want, but it's a tiny front bumper. Rapid battery tray. This is very similar to what some of the like the Reeve D and MST battery door trays kind of look. It's very simple, very effective, just open, close. Some have it both, like Reeve D's, for example, has this door on both sides. Some like the MSTs are just on one. Very simple, very elegant. Here's the suspension arms. This is pivot ball style. Now this is like race car style, and it's going to be interesting to see how this performs. It's different to the predecessor Sakura cars. The D3, 4, and 5 all had traditional swing arm, I guess we'll call it, with the hinge pin, and these have pivot balls. And the only other car currently, or 2 cars on the market, are the Yokomo MD1 and MD2, the Master Drift series. They're running this pivot ball style like the race cars. But the difference is those cars have carbon versions of those arms, and they're a little thicker than these. It's going to be interesting to see the difference in pivot ball style as well. So that's that. These are the lower arms, or upper arms. We'll take a look at them once we open the box. The knuckles here, these are different from the D5. They changed this up a bit as per people's recommendations and stuff. Not that the D5 ones, the stock ones, not that they were terrible or anything, but I think people just wanted a little more refinement, a little bit more geometry change so that the front wheels wouldn't be so castered. I think, if I remember correctly, the stock D5, the original one, had a good amount of caster, but the geometry was good that you had a good amount of front bite. Out of the box, mind you. Tuning these knuckles, some people found slightly bit difficult. Some people just swapped on Reeve D's option knuckle for the MC1 at the time, and boom, on the D5 and away they went. So new knuckle design. This should give us a decent angle, at least 80 odd degrees. It should be a similar or more than the D5. So that's that. Now, the brake disc and caliper. It looks very good here in the picture. On the other video, I was wondering, is this disc actually aluminum or will it be a sticker on a plastic disc? Because the Reeve D RDX is a sticker on a plastic, it's a whole plastic piece. MST does the plastic disc with brake disc sticker, but in the other video, which I'm going to confirm in this as well, this was aluminum. And that's really nice. That's a nice touch. So it'll look really nice, but you can feel the thickness of the aluminum. So that's cool. And then here, the slim bulkhead with caster adjustment. This is the new style front bulkhead. It's different than the D5. And somebody had wrote their little build review or whatever, something that they had to flip the front, some piece of the suspension mount or some piece of the bulkhead, they had to flip it 180 degrees. Because they said something in the manual may have been off, or maybe they interpreted it wrong, or whatever they were doing, if they were not building it to the kit default settings, that they had to flip it for their castering or whatever it was. It was something. I'm going to take a look at that when we build it. But that is the new front bulkhead design. So very interesting. And other than that, just to go through the actual features that they've written all off here, might as well go through them. I did it in the other video. We're going to do it here. And this is just to confirm everything that they've been saying, so let's go through it. So 3 kinds of drivetrains, the belt, bevel, and idler gear. Yes, we went through that. 3 kinds of motor position options. Yes, we went through that. The newly pivot ball suspension system. There's the arms there on the reactive toe. The slim front bulkhead, we just saw that. The emulation caliper and brake disc. That's the beautiful brake disc and caliper option, which some people actually reached out to me and said, hey, does the car kit you're reviewing, or does this car kit come with a brake disc and caliper included? Because if it doesn't, I'm not going to buy it. I want the scale look. If it doesn't have it, it's not scale to me. It doesn't look real. I want that. So this car does. Both the Sport and this car, I believe. Yes, they both have the aluminum brake disc, which is really cool. So I can't wait to get that installed and see it spin around. Where we hear newly designed KPI knuckle, we just saw that. Newly designed main chassis layout, we kind of saw that from this a little bit. Where were we? The newly designed upper deck, yes. Rapid battery tray, which we just saw in the picture. Tiny lower front bumper, just saw. The 1.3 millimeter pistons in the shock absorber. 12 millimeter heavy duty wheel hub. Now this is where I got a little lost in the other video, but then I figured out what it meant. It's this thing basically. It's all this and the drive shafts for the rear end of the car. We'll illustrate that in a minute. The body post with stiffener, that stuff. The magnets, there they are. Speed controller cable terminal. Now that's this, and I'm hoping they're 12 gauge. Rear wishbones with flip convert wheelbase. Yes, so that's we just saw it. Well, we didn't really see it, but it's these. They've designed it so that you can take these pivot ball style, flip them, and actually get a wheelbase change, and it's actually proper. So they've engineered that, which is very good. That's good. So it's not just a one-way installation. You can do it either or and get different settings. So that's cool. We'll look more into that later. Infinity absorber, angle adjustment. Couldn't really figure out what that meant, but I have a feeling that has to do with the shock preload. I could be wrong. I'm going to have to research that one. That's the one that kind of messed with me. Extreme steering angle. Yes, we are supposed to have extreme steering angle as per the test videos we saw. Should be as much as or more than the D5. That's what it should be. Steering wiper with vibration resistance bolt. That's this thing, which is a sort of a newish thing. I haven't really seen any other cars with things like that. Maybe some project cars or like more rare cars that didn't sell well, or like your a car that you'd make your third or fourth car for a project, something neat that you're going to do science with. 6mm offset, tiny 10-spoke rim. Now, those are really nice. I'm just going to say that because we're going to see them, but I was impressed. And crucially, because it's 6mm rim wheels that they're including. Yes, this does include wheels and tires, just like all the other Sakura kits before it, which is also a nice touch. And the other thing that they're including is density PE tires, which the other tires, they were quite hard in all the predecessor kits. These PE tires are pretty much like, we're going to look at them, but to me, they look and feel like Yokomo P tiles, or even a thin version of the Yokomo C. So it's tires we run here, and so those tires should run good here. And yes, that's a very nice thing, because I think, not that I griped about it, but I believe other people definitely griped about the low 5mm, almost useless offset. 6mm or higher is pretty much the standard issue, unless you're doing some really interesting fitments or trying to do some science. So one thing that limited the D5's angle, D4 and D5's angle, was the 5mm wheels rubbing up against the suspension arms before the knuckle stopper even hit the arm. So that was a bit of an issue. But I think the D5 actually was a little bit better. At least it was more drivable. Anyways, yeah, so that's that. So we got wheels and tires and all that cool stuff. Now we've done all this talking. I've probably done more talking than the other video. Let's pull the sleeve off. Let's get this box up. 31 minutes deep. Are you still with me? Did you skip ahead? What did you do? I'm going to cut this open the opposite way from the other video, so you know which one you're watching. This is the Sakura D6 GA purple. If I've got that identified correctly, this is the purple car. We may cut open one of my friend's boxes there, because it's blue car. We can look at the blue stuff. Shout out to those guys. I think I shouted them at the beginning. If not, shout out to Bryant and Phil for lending me their car kits. I'm going to pick them up later in the week, and they're going to be building them at some point. But I mean, yeah, they lend them to me, so they I could put them in the video, and we could oogle and drool over the colors of the parts, the chassis. So here we go. Cut the seal open. Does it have that new box smell? Oh, yes, new box smell. All right, D6 GA, here we go. And just like the other kit before it, it has an addendum, but this addendum is smaller. This is only one addendum to it. The sport car had two addendums. It had a thing here and then a separate, it was a longer sheet basically, and it had to do with an option part they added into the kit. It was the shock preload collars. They added aluminum threaded collars. I think that's what that infinity thing was talking about. But they added aluminum threaded shock collar to the plastic shock assembly, that's a cool addition. That's really nice. So that's that. So I'm assuming it's not happening in here because we're getting an aluminum threaded shock in this car kit, the GA purple, and that's already in this. So that's why we're not seeing that second addendum. So if you watch the first video and you're wondering why we're only seeing this one thing here, that's why. So I tried to figure this out really quickly on the fly, and I didn't really look online about this quickly before shooting this GA video, after shooting the sport video. But basically what I'm interpreting is, do not use these screws. We're going to find it in amongst these bags. There's an addendum screw attached, and we're supposed to install this, I think, with a 2mm, leaving 2mm or something. I'll figure it out when we build it, but basically don't use the included ones in the bag, use the addendum ones, and then install it with this whatever 2mm gap is or whatever. Possibly it has to do with, I'm not really sure. They just illustrated this without really explaining why. It's just kind of just sort of follow the pictures. But they want you to change these screws out, so we're going to do that during the build for sure. That's an addendum straight up, so that's that. Yeah, so what we're going to go with first is this bag, because I want to illustrate. Now this says remaining parts. This probably I should have done at the very end, but I want to show this off because there have been very few, if not any, that I can remember off the top of my head all through my RC drift career here, where an assembly kit actually included supplies that you normally wouldn't get in a car kit. Some car kits do. Like if you bought, say, a regular Tamiya, just like basher car kit like TTO 1 or 2, you might get a little tube or a little thingy of Loctite or something like that. But in drift car world, I haven't really seen this like ever. If you had a car that had a ball differential, yeah, you might get some extra grease. Or if you have to build something that requires a lot of like the anti-wear stuff, they may throw in a little thingy of anti-wear grease or whatever. But what we're getting here, which I'm very happy about, we get the number 50 shock oil, so that's good. Super light oil. You can call it 50 weight. You can call it 50 CST. To be honest, it means the same thing. The number 50 means it's the lightest. If you have a high number, heavy. So basically call it what you want. 50 CST, 50 weight. Essentially, it's the same thing. I know in the theory definitions, they don't mean the same thing, but you know what? That's what it basically means. So light oil is good. 6-hole piston plus this, very good. I'm very happy about that. That's on par with a lot of other things on the market. Differential oil, number 100. Far lighter than a lot of other differential oils because Yokomo has been speccing 5,000, 7,500, and 10,000. The last D5 had 5,000 in the diff. This is going to have 100, so this is going to be quite light. The diff will be way open, I think. It'll be kind of loose, but it should work pretty good. So the things, though, that I'm pointing out here is these two. Thread locker, a little bottle of the thread locker, which I can't remember the last drift car that actually included a thread locker bottle like this, or even thread lock at all. Loctite, thread lock, whatever you want to call it. But yes, I always use this stuff on anything metal to metal. Doesn't matter what metal to metal. I've seen enough failures on track where, yeah. They didn't use the Loctite or whatever. Some people swear by never using Loctite, whatever. I'd rather have peace of mind than not. But they include it. That's amazing. And then this. It's ceramic grease, even though it says grazie on the thing. It's a small typo, whatever. English is difficult, okay? It's ceramic grease. Now, I was able to point it out in the addendum here, but basically, because the other addendum was showing the shock assembly and actually showed this ceramic grease being applied to the shock's O-ring. And I was like, wait a minute. Well, it's clearish, whatever. But I'm like, wait a minute. This is I think is supposed to be what green slime is. It's supposed to coat the O-ring, protect the O-ring from absorbing oil quickly, and preserve it over time, and then also seal the O-ring into the shock shaft, seal it against the shock shaft itself, but also seal the O-ring against the shock's body as well. So the fact that I'm seeing both of these things in this car kit, this is also in the sport kit, the $200 kit. So the fact that you're seeing this in a $200 entry-level kit and the GA kit as well, that's very good. Big marks for 3Racing. I'm very impressed that they added those two things in there. I'm wondering if this was mentioned during the lead-up to the release of this car. If people said, hey, would you mind throwing this in, or would you mind throwing this in? It's a good idea, or you should start doing it. Either way, bravo, because that's awesome. This was a really nice surprise to see, so I'm kind of raving about it. And what's this? Yeah, servo saver and that kind of stuff in this bag. You know, a couple tools here, and one of my favorite tools of all time that I've gotten through so many Sakura kits. The BCS, the ball cup screw. It says it on the other side here. BCS. Yeah, there it is. BCS. This thing saves your fingers and stuff because you slot one. It's got two ends, and you do all kinds of ball cups. You slot this onto your ball cup, and you use that little tool to twist, and your fingers are grasping this, which is so much easier to twist and turn instead of trying to hold the tiny ball cup and you're ruining your fingers. Love this tool, so I got another one here. Brilliant. Also in this bag, a pinion gear, 25 tooth. This is the same size as the Sakura D5, and I'm very glad that they put a pinion in because, you know what, there are $1,000 cars on the market right now that do not include a pinion gear, and to me that's a little sacrilegious. You spend that much money and then you still have to go find a pinion gear or buy one yourself. Some say, oh, they assume that you know what you're doing and you're going to be choosing this yourself because you might be a high-end user. Hey, a beginner can buy a $1,000 car if they want. There's no rule against that. But if you're a beginner, you get home and you have everything, but you don't have everything because you have to go back to the hobby store to get one of these if you're a beginner. But, so, again, it's nice that 3Racing throws that in. I don't know why it seems to be becoming common that pinion gears are not being included in cars. No. A pinion gear should always be included in my eyes. That is not a high-cost item. Figure it out. Well done, 3Racing, for this, and of course, including the pinion gear. And, well, my favorite tool. So that's that. There's the remaining parts. We'll put that over there. Let's dive in Bag 8, look at these stickers. Look how big that number is. You cannot mistake that. So, well done. And bag 8, tires, body post, small bumper. Look how small that is. Slim bumper. Actually, that body, if hold on. No, that can't be body post. I said it earlier thinking this was for body post. That can't be. That's too slim of a geometry thing for that. So that can't be for that. I don't see that being for that. Mostly just a protective bumper. Maybe they'll offer an option bumper or plastic bumper that will do the body post, but that doesn't look like it will. Now that I actually see it. I think I said this in my other video. Maybe I didn't. But anyways, that's that. They want you to use the magnet mounts anyway, preferably. You could probably rig up some body posts if you really wanted to. I was thinking in the other video, possibly, or earlier this video, that you could use these just as body posts, but I don't think they'll mount up that way. I think these are only for the magnets. Regardless, I'm going to use the magnets because they include them, and the magnets is a nice set. So that's that. But, here they are. Here are the magnets. There's the magnets and the discs up there. Nice and strong, nice and thick. Look at those. These, you know what? These magnets might even be thicker than the other ones. Maybe it's a new version. Either way, it does look the same, and they are nice and thick, and they're strong. I know this from experience, and I'm very pleased that they included that. Very few car kits on the market actually include a magnet body mount set in their car. The only last car I seen that included one of these was the Yokomo MD2, and that's like a nearly $1,000 car kit type thing. It's the high end, it's very expensive. I remember laughing because, wow, they gave me like a really expensive, the expensive new Yokomo magnet set. Wow, no pinion gear. Cool, okay, trade-off. Whereas in this car kit, you get magnet set and a pinion gear. Great success. Now, turning my attention to the tires and wheels, look at them. Very nice. I like these. I used to have race car wheels that looked like this, and you can still get this design on the market. I just forget the name of it at the moment, but the wheels look great. I like them. They look, this is a big improvement from the predecessor Sakura cars, which has pretty much the same 5-spoke, 5mm wheel for the last, several years. This is a nice change. These wheels will look good. And the brake disc behind it should look really good. I'm excited. And the other kit, I was really excited seeing these. And then looking at the tires actually look really nice. They look like the Yokomo P-Tile tire. They say right on them, polished cement. Look at that. We got polished cement right there. So these tires should work good on our track. And if they work good on our track, they should also work good on P-Tile, probably several other surfaces. I hear people running these P-Tile tires on carpet as well. So this should be good. And these are 6mm, and that really makes me happy because the other ones were 5mm. We have another millimeter of offset there. Great success. I didn't see where it says 6mm in the wheel anywhere. Like sometimes they write it in the hub or whatever. I'm sure it's somewhere in there. I might see it, I might not. But these are confirmed 6mm by 3Racing. So that's nice. They look great. I'm stoked. So my car is going to look awesome right off the hop as a roller. Not even with running gear, my wheels are going to look really nice. So I'm really happy about that. Now, turning our attention to bag number 7. This is the shock set. And here woo! Okay, so, nice. So we got springs identified there. I think these were also on the other set. I just forgot to look at them. But we have identified like a medium and a soft here, it looks like. We got different colors. We have 6-hole pistons. Look at that. Now the difference between these pistons and the ones in the sport kit, these ones are white and the ones in the sport kit are black, but they are both 6-hole 1.3mm pistons in both the sport kit and this. So that's a nice touch. That's very good. You can see the O-rings there, which are for the shock collar. That's purple. Oh yeah, look at that. So there's the retaining collar. Now for the sport kit, they actually threw in these collars into the plastic shock set. That was a nice little surprise. So that was cool, and that's also an improvement in performance because the standard one is just a plastic collar, but this aluminum collar has the O-ring, the large O-ring there, which prevents that collar from shifting around and changing your settings. So that's nice. Aluminum threaded body shock, also very nice. Little bit disappointed about the plastic caps here and here and here. But you know what? Aluminum threaded body. That's the biggest importance right here. These plastic parts, they'll probably release a dress-up kit where we can change these out in purple. It would have been really swell. It would have been really awesome to have purple. But you know what? Being, as it says here, the finest entry drift chassis, being on the more entry level, I can see why they went with the plastic in the plastic. So you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with this. If anything, I'll get a dress-up kit later. If anything, I'll change the shocks entirely. It would have been nice, but hey, honestly, we're getting quite a bit of niceness from what I've seen in the other unbox, and I'm already happy with this niceness and these niceness. So we got the purple collar there. That will be the nice little look there. I don't think we have an actual picture of the shock. Really, you can't really see it from there, but it's gonna look good. It'll still look good regardless. Awesome, 6 holes, awesome. So yeah, really no complaints there. Just, like some people they'll feel just like I will here, would have been nice, but hey, not a big deal. Good news is though, these top hats here, they really do look exactly like the Sakura D5 ones. So hey, if you wanted to chuck these shocks on your D5, you'd probably be able to, no problem, because those should probably fit the standard ball studs that come in this kit. So awesome, that's good. Still good there, I'm still pleased with that. What's this? Bag 6, or bag G, depending on how you look at that. It kind of looks like a G, but we're going with a 6. So bag 6, we can see the lower arms here, or upper arms, sorry, these will be, I think these are upper, yeah, these are the upper arms for the suspension. The pivot ball style will go in there. It's going to be interesting to find. There's the knuckles, plastic knuckles. Here's the brake calipers, which are in white. And for some reason in the other video when I was looking at this, I'm like, yeah, these will be really easy to paint. I could just paint them yellow, blue, fuchsia, because everyone likes to paint their brake calipers. But in other car kits, they normally are like gunmetal or a gray or a black, which are, you just look at it, it's an N brake caliper, okay. But just seeing these in white, it gives me that, ooh, and then, hey, the white's gonna pop. It's gonna stand out a bit, but I could paint them. And that's gonna be cool. So anyways, yeah. Let me know what color you paint your brake calipers if you're going to do it. But 2 other things I want to point out in this bag, if I can get these parts to separate. Yeah, look at that. So there we go. There's the brake disc. And in the other video, I went, is this a sticker or is it plastic? And I took my fingers here and I tried to bend it or flex it, and those are solid metal. So that's metal. And it's shiny, and it looks great. Look at it. I like it. It looks really good. Considering a lot of other car kits currently, if they do include caliper and brake disc, it's either a solid plastic disc hub apparatus, one piece, or it's a plastic disc with a brake disc sticker you apply to it. Reeve D has their solid brake disc piece for the RDX, which are actually weak and they're a little brittle and they break easy. And then MST has a whole plastic disc with a sticker you put on it. Still looks pretty good, but it's plastic. And that's okay. They sell an aluminum upgrade. But here we're getting an aluminum brake disc right away. And this is also in the plastic kit, so that's a nice touch. It's a nice touch here that it's in the GA, the carbon version, the sort of the pro car, I guess we can call it, until they release one that says pro. Yeah, that's a real nice touch. I'm really pleased with that. And then the other thing, which I then figured out with that whole, what they were talking about, where is it over here? A 12 millimeter heavy duty wheel hub. Look at these things. Look at these axles and universal drive. There's the CVD, the universal part. Look at the beef. Look at the amount of metal. Look at it. It's beefy, strong. Yeah, I love it. So that's promising. So there's the one part they illustrated in the photograph, which I'll just dig up here in a second. There's that part. That's all metal. That is all metal. And I got worried because I didn't see there's the axle piece, the axle and the threaded rod, and then the wheel nut goes on it. The other one was, it was already assembled in one unit there. But that's big and all metal-y and should be nice and strong. Okay, so here's the picture. And in the photo, it kind of looks plastic to me. It doesn't really look metalish, but I got worried because I thought it was the whole quick release system. But nope, beef, metal, lovely, awesome. I like that. So that's very promising, and excited to check that out. So that's bag 6. Put that there. Let's continue. Bag 1. Number one, this is the gear diff. There's the seals for it right there. So this is going to get number 100 oil, which is going to be quite light compared to the other cars. And the biggest difference is, while this differential looks to be the exact same unit from the D5, it's slightly different because it has plastic gears to go inside of it, whereas the D5s had metal gears and number 5000 oil. So this will have lighter gears and lighter oil, so it should have a lighter feel to it. Should translate to some pretty good traction on track. Should work pretty good too, I think, because the D5 diff works pretty good as far as I'm concerned. The D5 diff, I will admit, pretty much every single one I built, whether it was for me or for somebody, it leaked. But there is a way to mitigate that problem. If I have the vial of the thing floating over here, yes. Now I'm gonna pop the cap off of this thing, just because there's a different brand on it. But basically, this here is anti-wear grease. Okay, this is anti-wear grease. So what I've heard through several instruction manuals and even pit tips from people, you can take your gasket here and apply the grease here. Just kind of rub the gasket all with it. Apply this grease to the gasket before installing it in the diff, and you will get a better seal. And I actually tried this myself with a couple other cars. Let's put that over there. I tried this with a few cars that I was assembling once I came to learn it, and those diffs are not leaking. So I'm going to probably do that to this. If it doesn't say it, whenever I film the digest videos of building these things, I will probably note that. I'm going to definitely do it and then report back. I don't think it'll say it in the manual. On this one, I don't think it might, but they didn't include anti-wear grease here. We just have ceramic grease, which is clear. So I don't think that will do what I want for this. But if they say to do it, I'll try to do it. It's either or. I'm going to do either or. But that's that. Plastic gears, and it's going to have a lighter feel. There's all the bearings and the extra installation bits for the gear diff. So gear diff plastic gears. So that'll be interesting. Bag 3 is a very small bag. We have some of the bits for the steering, I believe, and or some other bits for supports or things that go in between bulkheads or what have you. I even thought one of these was was for the servo mount. But yeah, basically it's some parts that go in between of some other parts, let's say. Let's put it that way. I'll figure out more once we build it. We'll go from there. Now, bag 2, here it is. We haven't really seen the purple color yet, other than the purple there, but it's going to be on the chassis. Bag 2, here are the beefy lower arms. Look how thick they are. They are nice and thick, which is good. Ball bearings and such, and collars and what have you for all of that. The pivot ball suspension system. There's the ball studs. Both the big ones and the small ones, so that's going to be interesting. Now, what I was saying about the addendum, bag 2, you see there's another bag of screws sitting here. So that's what this is going to be relating to, okay? So they're saying don't use these screws that are going to be inside this bag here. You're going to use this screw, which is these, and then for whatever reason, this screw with that 2mm whatever is going to work properly in here. That's what I'm interpreting without an actual worded description. Well done. So that's what will happen when it's complete. But these are the addendum screws, and yeah. So do that. I'm wondering if what it has to do with is the thickness of the thread, because like looking at that screw there and then looking at that one particularly right there, I can see the physical difference in size. So I think that's what happened. They got the screw size wrong. I'll verify it once we build it. I kind of was trying to figure it out really quick in the other video, but that's what that is. So yeah, the lower arms for the suspension, the new pivot ball style. It's going to be interesting to check that out. So that's that. That's bag 2. The last bag we have here is bag 4. Second last bag. Lots of bits here. Let's see. So we have. This is bulkheads front and rear. There's the front huge bulkhead piece. That's a big piece actually. Rear bulkhead, there's the indents for the cam lobe where you use to install your differential, and that you can do the cam lobing to adjust the tension for the belt. There is the belt. There's the spur gear holder. I was able to flip the spur gear around in the other bag, and it's actually an 83 tooth spur gear. I wonder if I can just show it. There it is. Yes. See, 43, 83. Okay. So it's an 83 tooth, 48 pitch spur gear. That's included. Most of the cars come with 84s now. Some did 80, some did 88, most are 84. This one's 83. I think the D5, if I remember right, is an 84. I will verify that, of course, in another video, in a comparison, what have you. But, yeah, that's that. And then the other cool thing in this bag that I'm going to point out, is, well, D6 motor mount, look at the D6 logoing there, very nice. And the belt. I was really curious. I should have mentioned it to them to make sure it would be a certain type, and it is. It's a Bando. Bando reinforced belt, which is very good. Clearly, either someone said to them, you should put a Bando reinforced because we're going to run boost on this card. This boost is a thing now. It has been a thing for many years. And yeah, so the belt, if this were a standard belt, it would not have all this reinforcements down here, this extra coloring you're seeing. Standard belts are just all black, whereas this has the reinforcement. You can tell by the difference of color. And these belts typically last twice as long as the standard belts. Takes these a little longer to stretch out as well. So yeah, Bando belt, very happy to see that in there. I believe in the D4 they had included a Bando belt, I think. But the D3 they didn't because we had to upgrade those as we killed them. But the D4 I think did have a Bando. I'll find out, of course, do the homework. But yeah, that's a nice touch. So bravo, very nice. So that's that. Like I said, the rest of the bulkhead pieces and what have you for the front and rear. And then the last bag we have here, bag 5, another really small bag. Ball studs and or ball cups, some studs, screws, long threaded rod there. That's for the steering link, and I think these might even be suspension mount or suspension or servo block or whatever mounting, something like that. That huge rod you're seeing here, that's this guy right here because servo is mid on the car. It's the D5 was up here, the D6 they've moved it back, so that's why that rod is in there, that long rod. Very nice. And finally, we get to look at the chassis, which is hiding in this little bag. Let's unwrap it, shall we? Oh, yes, look at that. Oh, yeah, and they put a sticker on it, too. Look at that. That's fantastic. I like that. That looks really good. There's the bottom side of the chassis, access hole in the front there. Which I'll find out what exactly that's for. And I was pointing out in the other video, as you can see, of the whole chassis, a lot of cutouts. This looks to be even more trimmed down than the Sport chassis, which we'll do a comparison. And the flex area is in the mid. There's more cutouts here in the middle of the car, I think, than the other chassis. And a couple more cutouts here and shaving out areas than the Sport chassis. But yeah, the flex area is more mid than mid-rear, so that's going to be interesting on the car as well. But I can see, yeah, I think there's even more shaven area off the sides of the chassis compared to the Sport car. We'll do that in another video, but I really like this. This looks really good. Oh yeah, and that sticker too, like that look, hold on. Yeah, it even feels nice. Like a raised sticker, like that's, like it almost looks like a plated sticker or something. I don't know, but it looks good. I'm really excited. That's awesome. So that looks mint. Let's take a look at the other chassis pieces. Oh, yes. Look at the color. Yeah, that's going to look so good on track. That's definitely purple. But man, that looks good. It almost looks like forged carbon. Almost. Like from some of the Bingo Wasp stuff I've been getting. And I'm very sure Mr. Bingo, Rudy over at Bingo RC Designs, I'm pretty sure he's already cooking up some magic for the D6, because I said to him, make sure you get on that. It's going to be another big car coming to market and probably going to be very popular. But like looking at this cutouts, you got your work, cut out for you, Mr. Bingo, if you're going to make a plate. But I'm sure Mr. Bingo will make a beautiful Bingo iteration Wasp for the D6. Maybe a couple versions, who knows? But like, there's a good amount of flex here, so he'll probably derive from this. But yeah, that's going to be cool if he can do that. But I mentioned him because he does the forged carbon stuff, and this kind of reminds me of it a little bit. It's very well done. It's so good. Yes, very nice to see. So I think quickly at the end of the video, I'll cut open a blue box and we'll just quickly take a look at the blue chassis. because that's really the only colored thing. Sticker sheet, lots of 3Racing stickers there. We got a bunch of these thrown in on our pre-sale order, so that's awesome. And look at this. They included, just like with the D5s, they included some pretty cool sticker sheets. This is the D6 specific sticker sheet, and they've put a good amount of things on it. Look, the finest entry drift chassis, just like on the pit mat. The 3 different drivetrains, so you could identify your car if you really wanted to. Parts searching, the QR as stickers. Sakura D6 Sport, a long sticker there. You know, D6, 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 D6. Very awesome. The website, and they even included 2 Opper D6 stickers. This isn't the Opper, obviously, because I've been saying GA version the whole time. There it is. And yeah, I know they're going to do an Opper D6. What I really hope is they do numbered limited version like the D4, because I have one. Mine's number 147 of 300, I think it is, if I remember right. It's on the channel. But yeah, the 4th gen chassis. It's funny to say that, but yeah, they started with the D3, then the 4, then the 5. I don't know what happened to the D1 or the D2, but they started with the D3. But yeah, the D6 is the 4th generation, so that's that. Very nice sticker sheet. And then, ooh, what's this? So in the other box, I didn't get this. Ooh, wait, hold on. Is this a big addendum? So we have that. And then, oh, this, yeah, additional instruction manual. So this looks like big addendums. Okay, so parts exchange. Congratulations on purchasing this unique version. Due to the optimization of some parts in this car into carbon fiber, the following manual will assist. Oh, okay. I understand now. So it's not so much an addendum. They are just. So I think what's happened here is this is the same manual. This here is the exact same manual that's in the sport car over there, my sport box. If I just quickly scan through it. Yes, it is. Okay, because yeah, you can see that chassis is the all plastic. There's the plastic shocks, the standard sport chassis. So okay, so this is the standard sport manual, which we're going to dive through quickly. But look, it's nice, it's colored, it's not black faded or hard to read, which I noticed in the other video. So we're going to do that. Now this is simply because this is the GA Pro one. These are all the GA parts they've illustrated. Look how large they are. Look how colorful and how well illustrated it is. 3Racing took some flack for some of their D5 manuals. They were hard to read, they were faded, they weren't printed well. They got a lot of flack for it. So much so that people reached out to me asking for help and even bringing their cars in here to the track, showing me where they got lost and telling me like how they got lost based on what they could see. So I think that was also a big thing. People said, hey, make sure you get your instruction manual sorted and nicely printed, whether it's in color or not. Make sure it's legible and visual and people can depict what's on the page. So basically this is how to do the aluminum shock installations, very similar to the other one. There's the ceramic grease thing, install it on the O-ring, so that's that. Yeah, how to do that. And then, okay, so you know what? this additional instruction manual is really only the shocks. Yeah, shocks, and then install it on the car. Okay. And they did. Yep, front is red marked and orange is for rear. Okay, cool. So really, it's going to install very similarly. These are the difference in parts compared to what you're going to see in that manual. But it looks like it'll be pretty straightforward. It doesn't look like there's it's just really the chassis that's different, I think, and the shocks. There isn't really any other main difference of parts throughout them. So I think that'll be okay. I think we'll be fine with that. Now, having said that, let's look through the manual, because I always like to look through the manual, show it off, and show people stuff. So, yep, it's very clear, colored, very legible. Things are well illustrated. The instructions seem to be pretty clear, pretty straightforward. I'm going to make notes, of course, from my Constructor's Digest video. But yeah, crucially, things like that were all black or whatever, like black parts onto black parts, you can see them. It's nice and easy to see, very visual. What had happened before, which I can sort of give you an illustration, you see the shadings on these parts. What had happened was the shading was so bad that the shading was kind of bleeding into the parts. So you'd see a part and then the shading would just kind of blur and make grainy. the whole image, and then you couldn't see little details like the orientation of that. You couldn't see that screw going into exactly that hole because it was so dark and blurred. You couldn't even see that a certain length was required or certain words were blurred. But they've really they've done a good job here. They've colored things. They've done different colors per the steps. Look, color, different color through the steppings. So that's good. Little things like that. I'm sure people passed along some details in the Facebooks and the forums or what have you, submitting information and thoughts and tips for this car, and it shows. And 3Racing paid attention, and they were quick to respond on a lot of things, and they were willing to have discussions with people on the forum, in Facebook posts and what have you. So the result is, yeah, we have, look at that. You did it. Congratulations. Yeah, when you finish the car. That's how I'm going to feel when I finish this car. And then going through the manual, we got our gear chart here. Very nice. And I pointed this out as well. A blank setting sheet, which is always nice to have because you can download this manual, print this sheet out a million times and make a million different setups, so to say. And some car kits in the manuals, they don't put this in. They just put in what you find on the backside, which is a printed with settings already, like somebody's setup, like a team driver setup. Sometimes you only get that and you don't get a blank setup sheet. That's very annoying. So I like that 3Racing has, I think they've done this in most of their drift kits. They put a blank setup sheet for you to use and fill out, and then they include a setup sheet as well. And this one was filled out by FJ Faisal. And I remember when the D6 was being promoted and they were telling us about all this stuff and we want your input and blah blah blah. This gentleman, FJ Faisal, he was one of the main people I kept seeing posting over and over and over, and someone that was responding quite a lot to all of the discussions and the, hey, please do this, or what do you think about this type of posts. They were always willing to reply and always had some information or thoughts of what 3Racing was thinking or this or that. So this is FJ's settings for the D6, his preferred settings. So this is not out-of-box settings. This is his preferred settings on what he liked when he drove the car and was doing prototyping and the testing and all that kind of crazy stuff. All the good stuff. And there's the date. So earlier, May of this year, it was done at an indoor track at Todak RC. Flat condition with plastic tile, P-tile, and a low traction availability. So that's really nice. So thank you, FJ, for providing this, and thanks for entertaining all of the discussions and posts and things and memes and everything we threw at you during the development of this car, because clearly you listened to us, you took what we offered you, laid it all out, applied it to the car in as best of the ways you guys could, and we are really thankful. I am, definitely. And the little garnishes I've seen through this kit, like the oils and such, the actual metal brake discs, things like that, or even just on the sport kit, the sport car, including those aluminum collars on the plastic, for the plastic shocks. That's a massive, major, yeah, we like that. Very well done. So there's the manual. We've gone through it. I just want to point out at the back of the manual here, so if you want to build your D6 in the URR or LRR, the upper rear motor or the lower rear motor configuration, you will need to download a different instruction manual, but here's the QR to go do it. It's available now from 3Racing's website, because 3Racing decided that they would make their instruction manual, at least this one, for the default layout of upper mid motor, and they decided to make separate manuals for the separate drivetrain layouts, which I kind of like that. Sometimes when you have multiple drivetrain layouts illustrated within one manual, sometimes you can get lost. Please proceed to page to do this, and then jump back if you're doing this, but don't do that, and do this if you... Sometimes it gets a bit confusing, and even when I've described it in my digest for some of the cars that are like that, sometimes it's quite a lot of information thrown at you. But if you just take your time and just follow the instructions and just read where they want you to go or do what first here, there, or the other, it'll usually make sense. So usually it all comes together. But yeah, there it is, the Sakura D6 GR, or yeah, blah, scratch that. The Sakura D6 GA in purple, beautiful in purple. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that purple, and really pleased with the sticker sheet, the extra supplies we get, the wheels, the tires, the aluminum brake disc, many things I am pleased with, and very thankful that they did it and that 3Racing listened to us. This car's development, I don't remember any other drift car manufacturer specifically doing what 3Racing did for the development of this car, where they asked the user base, us drifters, customers, they asked us our opinion, and they asked us what we wanted to see, what we liked, what we didn't like, and they actually entertained that, which I knew would be quite a big undertaking, but they fielded it all. They did their posts, they did their promotions, they told us when things were coming, what was going to happen, how it was going to happen. They were very upfront about everything, and yeah, I'm very thankful that they did that. So big shout out to 3Racing for that, because I've not seen any other manufacturer do that. But if that's slowly going to become a thing, that would be very cool, because then we can get even more little garnishes or beautiful little things we want out of the box, get it in the box right away, or whatever it is, you know, for whatever platform that may come. So that's a really awesome thing. And we are 1 hour 10 minutes deep, so if you are made it all the way through, thanks for watching. Yeah, I'm your host Nezo, and I'm really excited to build not only my sport car but this car as well. And then of course, what will be coming next after I build this, get on track, we're gonna have shakedowns, we're gonna have comparisons, we're gonna have comparison shakedowns, I'm gonna shake down comparison, and constructors digests, and I'm gonna have other people drive these cars. I'm gonna trying to get their opinions, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna go ham on this, just like I did with the D5. We're gonna have lots of comparisons. I'm gonna do as much videos as I can, many things I can think of. And yeah, I'm just generally pretty excited, because the hype all year, you know, sometimes you're like, it might not go the way we think. This literally went the way we thought, a lot of us thought, throughout the whole process. So very cool to actually be a part of the process, whether your idea or whatever was actually baked into the actual product. But just being able to reach out to an engineer, a developer, or a test driver in that regard to developing a car as a member of just the general public, that's a big deal. So I was really kind of surprised that was going to be a thing. And here we are. So yeah, I am going to pack this all up and then head home, because it's Sunday night. What is it now? 12:48 a.m. Monday morning, technically. Like I said, I'm here all by myself. I was going to stay here and build it, but I want to go home and be comfy and get my area all set up and build it. So yes, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Did you order a D6 GA? What color did you get? Did you order the sport one? Did you order 2 of them? Did you order a whole bunch for your track? Are you going to make it a rental car? Let me know what you think. Drop a line. Tell me about your build experience. Things you got in your car kit that you were surprised by. Let me know what you think of the carbon. You know, do you like the coloring? Do you like the design? Anything. Drop me a line. I'm going to try and reply to as many people as I can. I'm going to be all up in the Sakura D6 Brotherhood group and the other Sakura groups, like I always am. But I'm going to try and be a bit more vocal. Try and post some stuff in there. Drop video links, whatever. Just, you know, be all about the community, because this release was really to me more about the community. 3Racing really wanted to hear what we had to say and our thoughts, so bam, and here we are. Yeah, so let me know. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for stuff that's coming up. Bye now.